Hey, what's up guys? It's Jake aka Tag, and today we're back at it again with a new meta Mortar bait deck. This deck has got an absurd amount of bait with the Firecracker, Bats, Goblin Gang, and the Charging Prince. Before you were able to run Mortar with a whole bunch of small spells, but now you get absolutely obliterated by Magic Archer if you don't have Fireball. They're able to stack a whole bunch of them against your bait cards and you'll never be able to break through. We run Zap in this deck so you can reactively swiftly eliminate any bait card that would distract the Prince's charge. So then the Prince can actually charge on things that are important. Stacking Firecrackers with this new meta Mortar deck is one of my favorite things to do. So let's go jump straight into some games and assert some dominance with one of the new best Mortar decks. If you guys are not already supporting me in the shop, my creator code is SirTag. By using creator code SirTag, I get a percentage of all money spent in the shop at no extra cost to you. It allows me to spend more time on my videos and I really appreciate it. So we're cycling Bats. This guy is going to go in for a Magic Archer. It just pains me to not have Fireball in my cycle. But I'm going to go in for Bats, the next best thing, so we can bait out Elixir since his ranged unit that damages air is already cycled, so he's going to have a bit of an issue. Okay, great Fireball value. Actually, you know, it was actually better that we didn't have it early on in our card cycle. We wouldn't have gotten that superb value with the Fireball on top of the Battle Ram and also the Magic Archer early on. This is looking like an interesting P.E.K.K.A deck, but he's got mini P.E.K.K.A, so this is making me think it will probably be Mega Knight and not a traditional P.E.K.K.A deck. Otherwise, I don't think you would need that tank killer of the mini P.E.K.K.A in your deck. Probably doesn't have Inferno Dragon, and he substituted that out. One of the Bats will survive, so we're going to go in for a Miner with it. If you guys didn't know that interaction, always know your interactions with Bats and Goblin Gang so you can go in for counter pushes with your Miner. If you drop Bats on top of an Electro Wizard, always one Bat will survive, and then you can Miner aggressively. And they never want to go in for a Zap on top of the Bats. Trust me, guys. It is not a play that they're a fan of. We can go for a Firecracker here. It will be able to destroy the Magic Archer, I believe. He's going to go for arrows, unfortunately. Feels bad, man. You're going to be able to get a ton of extra chip damage because of that. Maybe we can go in for a Mortar here. It's a little bit difficult doing this. I don't really like going same lane because he might be able to poison. Even though we have a lot of damage on the right, we still have a lot of damage on the left. So it's better for us to get all of his elixir going here so he's not going to poison. He doesn't want to poison the healthier tower. He wants to poison the weaker tower. We're able to go for a Prince as well. Another reason that I decided to go in for a Mortar on the left-hand side, usually you don't really want to do that against these bridge spam players because I had Prince in cycle, and if he decided to spam me, we would have been fine, right? So if this man decided to go in for, let's say, a Battle Ram, we just go for Prince other lane, and we're fine. So same situation again. The Bat stays alive. We go in for a Miner. We get bury the Bat on top of the tower, get a ton of chip damage as well. Feels great, man. Arrows come down again. Very annoying. I have to go for a Fireball right on top of the Magic Archer just to eliminate it so our Goblin Gang is able to stay alive longer. We're going to go for a Prince now, and we're going to save our Mortar. We either have Prince or Mortar in hand whenever he's going to be able to go in for a Battle Ram. We do not want to fall prey to that. We're going to be able to pull the P.E.K.K.A back, but it doesn't look like the Prince will be able to get on top of the tower. In that situation, I just need to go for a defensive Mortar and try to play my best here. We're going to be able to go in for a Fireball if he decides to go in for a Battle Ram behind that. If he goes other lane, it's fine. We can Fireball the Magic Archer immediately as soon as possible so then we can keep the Mortar healthy, intact, in a good spot. In a good, healthy place in life, right? So he just uses arrows, right? So I really want to go for my Bats. Unfortunately, the Royal Ghost is on our tower, but he's got mini P.E.K.K.A and he's got P.E.K.K.A, which is just absurd. It's not a deck that I'm familiar with. I don't quite often see that type of shenanigans. We can go for a Zap so then the mini P.E.K.K.A is going to die and we don't have to respond to it. Unfortunately, Magic Archer is something that I have to respond to, and we can go for a Mortar to go pull the Battle Ram, and it's going to get too close to the Mortar, so then the Mortar can connect to the tower to give us some value. There's probably going to P.E.K.K.A. Yeah, I expected him to not P.E.K.K.A at the river. I expected him to P.E.K.K.A further back. The Mortar is still going to keep connected to the tower, and we will win the game because he did that. Yeah, GG, well played, and peace out. What I was going to say is if he had that P.E.K.K.A further back, then the Miner would just not be answered. We would win the game off that. There's no way for him to stop the Miner if he cycles the P.E.K.K.A because it's 7 elixir, and then the Miner Fireball Zap would finish off the game. All right, here we go. We're going to sauce out a good luck, and we're going to see what's up. I want to go for Bats in the back, and this guy's going to give us some love, so we got to be a cordial sir as well. We're going to give him some love as well, and we're going to go for a Mine on the left-hand side with our 2 Bats. See if he responds to the lane of the 3, or he just doesn't cycle anything at all. He's not cycling anything, then he goes in for a Mega Minion, so looks like a beatdown deck. If I had to guess, it could be a Golem deck because there's reluctancy to cycle cards at the start, and him also having Mega Minion. It's going to be beatdown, but he's going to have Prince. Okay, we want to go for a Prince of our own on the other side, and then we can go for a Goblin Gang in the middle to disperse everything. I have no idea what this is at all, man. This is an interesting deck. I think the Dark Prince dies here. It's going to be really clean for us. Notice that. Goblin Gang fully counters the Dark Prince. If you guys did not know that interaction, well, now you know. So he's going to have Dark Prince to Goblin Cage and Goblin Giant. We already know that this is going to be Sparky. It has to be. 100% fact here. So against Sparky, we have Zap. So that is definitely in our favor. I want to go in for Bats plus Miner here. But if he's able to bait out the Zap with other things, then we could be screwed. So I just have to know that I need to keep that. And hopefully he doesn't make prediction spells on top of our Goblin Gang after we Zap. That's the one thing that I'm a little bit scared about. Him going for like a Bard Barrel or something on that. We can go for a Firecracker in the back, and I expect him to have Snowball plus Bard Barrel. That's just what I'm feeling right now. I'm going to go for Prince on the left-hand side, so then we can still defend here and destroy his Dark Prince and have a tank for our Firecracker. He's going to go for an interesting Lightning. I do like that, actually. I think it was a good play. Gave him a lot of chip damage. We can go for a Miner with a couple Spear Goblins here and get some extra value. We drop it in the back, so then he has to drop something in front and in the back if he wants to defend. Otherwise, he's just going to take a lot of damage. That Goblin Cage would have been able to defend everything, by the way. That placement was really good. If we dropped the Miner in the safe spot, the greedy placement, we would have probably lost the game there. So we have to go in for probably a Firecracker and then Goblin Gang here. He thought that we would Zap to reset. We do have to Zap to reset. We just can't eat that much damage from the Goblin Giant. It's crazy well played from him. Seriously, I'm impressed. So, Magic Archer. Dude, does he not have the deck that we thought? A Dark Prince is going to go towards the Prince. Don't get twisted, guys. It was always going to go there. But I go for a Miner in the safe spot now. We're going to try to mix it up because we were always dropping it in the back. He's going to expect it to be in the back this time, and it wasn't. I'm going to Fireball everything. This is really clean. Could also Zap the Mega Minion. I will Zap it later. Remember, he did Lightning last time, so we're going to have to wait and see if he wants to do that again. I don't want to go and drop our Prince just yet until we see. There it is. So now we Prince. And we're not dropping any small cards that can get spelled until he drops his Snowball. So the best thing to do that I've learned is you want to wait. You want to wait for your opponent to allocate their spells the last possible second. And they quite often will overspend. They will mess up. They will drop spells when they should not. And if you wait for that opportunity, you can get way more value with your units afterward. Because then they just cast like 3 or 4 Elixir for no reason. So we can Zap that last possible second. The Prince will connect to the Sparky. And that is sublime for me, boys. I want to go for Mortar here as well. So then the Goblin Giant gets too close. And then we get the connection with the Mortar on top of the tower, hopefully. So unfortunately, it didn't work out the way we wanted it to. But still in a really good spot. The Magic Archer is going to get killed. And the Goblin Giant doesn't even get any damage on us. So he's going to go for a Lightning. That's going to put him in the negative Elixir category. I have no idea how you defend now, brother. If I just go for a Zap and a Fireball, that's going to be GG, well played, and peace out. Very fun game. Awesome player. I think that he played out extremely well. Sparky God, so you guys know he's a one-trick Sparky player later in a GC. Glad to win it there. If you guys have any reservations of your Mortar deck currently against Sparky, pick up this Mortar deck because you'll never lose to Sparky again. We're going to go for Bats in the back. We're going to see what's up. We're going to see what's good. He's going to go in for a Wall Breaker, so we have to Zap those or they will connect to our tower. We're also going to go for a Miner with the lane of the 2 Bats because they're going to be delayed, so we can get a little bit more time to go in for a Miner in front of that. He's going to go for Bats and Skeletons here. He's not going to go for a Miner with those Bats because it's just going to take too much time for the Miner to get there. And then he goes in for a interesting Magic Archer on the right-hand side because his tower is going to be healthier there, right? So this looks like it's going to be the Arrows, Wall Breakers, Magic Archer, Bomb Tower control deck that I love playing. If that's going to be the case, we want to use our Mortar on offense and defense at the same time, and that will go connect to the tower, so that's really good for us. Oh, we force out a Bomb Tower. That's even better, man. So if we force out the Bomb Tower here, can maybe go for a Zap to go kill it and then potentially get a Prince connection. Oh my gosh, guys, the Bomb Tower was not going to be able to distract it, so he's forced to go in for a Valkyrie. We know he's going to be dropping a Magic Archer here or Arrows, so I want to go for a Miner in front so then we can maybe stop the Magic Archer from connecting and then we can Fireball so then the Bats can connect to the tower. Oh guys, the prediction was marvelous and we took the tower basically. That was clean. So I knew either Arrows or he was going to go and drop Magic Archer. Usually you want to drop Magic Archer because you're going to be greedy and you want the counter push potential. Arrows, they start on his side of the map. They die. They don't give him value. Counter pushing with the Magic Archer, that will give him value. So that's why he elected to do that. So I want to go for a Prince, and I just want to use our Mortar on defense against Wall Breakers. Wall Breakers don't do enough damage to the Mortars, so it's kind of a broken counter. If you guys are sick and tired of losing to Wall Breakers players, drop your Mortar in the middle. As you guys saw, the Magic Archer can't align and wreck us. And then also, his Wall Breakers, they don't do enough damage to the point that our Mortar is going to be useless, right? We go for Bats here. He's still not able to go for Magic Archer. If he does, we want to just Fireball it. I'm going to go for a miner, and he's going to be forced to arrow this probably. Otherwise, okay, well, that was kind of bad. I thought he maybe would go from another magic archer there. He dropped another spot. That was a super bad prediction. I was like, you know what? We could hit everything here. I was trying to be really, really sneaky with my plays. So you can go for arrows. Okay, that's fine. This is really fine. I can just zap this and the magic archer doesn't get a hit on our tower. If you guys didn't already know, magic archer does shoot faster than your tower. Therefore, it will get a connection if you don't destroy it with a zap or a fireball or something. He's going to miss arrows too. Wow, this feels bad for him, right? This is later in a GC and he's messing up like that. Feels great, dude. We can go for a zap and get those bats onto the tower. Maybe no, the Valkyrie's going to be tanking. I could just defend here with a defensive mortar. I think that would be a little bit better than doing anything else, just so if he goes in for wall breakers, it goes into that. Oh, really sad that I'm going to be forced to go for a fireball on top of these bats. So we do have fireball. He didn't have elixir for the arrows earlier on. Luckily for us, it is double elixir, so we're able to make magic happen like that. And he can't defend this. Like, there's no chance. He just cycled his skeletons and his Valkyrie, so that miner's going to be able to take the tower. GG, well played, and peace out, buddy. Pleasure playing against you and asserting dominance. That was a pretty clean game despite the prediction fireball that missed the magic archer. He dropped the magic archer in the middle, not near the bats in the back, so that felt a little bit worse. I just had a feeling that he would drop the magic archer in the same spot that he did originally, and he didn't do it. So when I go and cycle zap to open up this game, and this guy's gonna go for bats in the back, so when we see that, it could be a balloon deck. Oh, it's gonna be mortar versus mortar. Let's go, baby. Let's see what he's got. So he's gonna have Valkyrie. All right, my dude, we can get a prince to ravage that Valkyrie and then also go in for a firecracker immediately after so we can lock on top of that mortar, get some juicy damage, and hit that tower as well. My man. So it looks like I have to miner here because the prince will not be able to kill the musketeer. We need to be able to tank for our firecracker to get some more value. And I think that the firecracker is not going to get a hit, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. He's going to have Valkyrie miner poison, most likely. So in this matchup, I think that we kind of have a bad matchup as the matchup scales. So we need to get a lot more damage early on because poison does more damage than our fireball, right? 216 to 201. So eventually, as he poisons more and more, he has a matchup advantage as the game scales on later. Also, his Valkyrie is cheaper to cycle, so he can get more minor poisons off on us. So there's probably the goblins here. Our goblin gang also costs more elixir too, so the cycle is really bad for us, in my opinion. He did just use his poison, so I can probably go opposite lane. I don't really want to go same lane as him anymore. I think the way that I win this is going opposite lane and making him, like, really in an awkward card cycle. I want to go for a miner in a spot where he is, like, just, I don't know. He feels ambivalent about what he wants to do. He's going to drop bats on top of the mortar, but they're not going to be able to hit the miner. Then he has to snowball. So that's 4 elixir that he just dropped without too much value, because it was a 4-for-4 trade on the mortar on mortar, and then he dropped snowball and also the bats to counteract the miner. There's a lot of elixir. We can goblin gang here, and this is really good for us. 3 for 3, and then he still has to respond to it. If he snowballs, then he doesn't have an answer for the bats. And if he spams us, then we can just go and kite at the opposite lane with a firecracker, right? So we're going to wait and see what he wants to do. So he's going to go for mortar. We have to go for mortar on mortar, I think. I think that's really the only way that we can play this out. I'm going to have to fireball and then drop our bats. So we still have a mortar alive, which is really good. He's going to poison, so that's really aggressive on his end, but it's also good. So remember, snowball doesn't actually kill our goblin gang. So we can go for a goblin gang on offense here, and I think that's going to be our best bet. So it does not kill the stab goblin. So if the miner is tanking, we can get a tremendous amount of damage. That's the only way that I can play this, is playing aggressive and going opposite lane. So now all these bats and goblins, he doesn't want to go for a miner with it because it's not in the lane that he has all his damage. That's why I really like playing this. We can go for a prince because we know that poison is going to be dropped. He's been dropping it every time now, and I just don't want to give him the value. Hopefully it doesn't. Okay, it's going to hit the firecracker for 1 hit, I think. He's going to try to activate king here. We can fireball and go and kill that muskie. And we want to go in for a really aggressive mortar, so then if he goes in for a miner, then he's not going to be able to poison. So he's going to mortar as well. Well played, my dude. Got a lot more damage on the right-hand side, actually, so we can potentially go on the right, depending on what happens here. I want to cycle firecracker, save our prince, and go and cycle that in the back in the lane that he wants to go in for a miner on. He cycled his Valkyrie, guys. This is our time. This is our calling to go in for the gang. He could go for a snowball. He should go for a snowball, but he's not dropping it. This is phenomenal. I can go in for a fireball on top of the musketeer, stop it from getting any value from him, and I am having a very good situation on our hands. The firecracker is actually going to be able to hit the miner. No firecracker! What? Why is it glitched? Oh no! Have you ever seen anything like that before, guys? Is that something that's just new? That was really triggering. Okay. Mortar misses. It's not going to give him any more value, but that was absurd. That wasn't a good time in the life of Jake. We got to go in for another mortar here. 3 elixir, so we can keep spamming. We need to just keep up the aggression because he's able to miner cycle us out. If we're not able to get mortar connection, we probably lose. So we're going to go for a fireball on top of the mortar and maybe on the bats. The prince is going to potentially get through on the right, but this is so spicy. We're going to go for double mortars here. Going for a miner. The Valkyrie's going to get too close. If we can go for bats right on top, he's not going to have elixir to stop this. Oh, he predicted where we were dropping the miner. Guys, we need to go for a fireball. We need to consistently cycle him here. He just needs to go in for 1 poison and a snowball, and he walks away with a W. But the goblins are on top. Guys, I think we might be able to come back. Oh, it's so close yet so far away. The zap is coming down. No! The zap was on the tower. Dude, imagine the firecracker just freaking hitting the miner and not glitching out there. If we had stopped 1 miner hit, we won the game. But the firecracker glitched out on my tower. Why? Why does that happen? The firecracker, if it hit the miner, denied 1 extra hit, we won the game. I'm gonna sauce out a good luck and we're gonna see what's up. I definitely want to go and cycle my zap to open up this game and just save my other cards in case my opponent decides to bridge spam. So he's gonna go in for a giant. I have to go for a defensive mortar here. I don't really feel comfortable going opposite lane when I cycle my zap. I feel like I'm down a little bit of elixir, so I just want to wait and see what he's going to do. Defend with our bait cards. If he's got triple spell, we'll still be okay. I can firecracker here. I can go for bats here and then go for a goblin gang on top of the miner. Oh, he predicted that and fireballed me. Really well played on his end. We can fireball everything, though, and we should be okay. I don't think we take any extra damage because the fireball was able to knock back the mega minion, hit the giant, and hit the miner. Really well played on his end. I love when our opponents are actually good players, and obviously this guy is a really good player. So he's going to put up a fight, and this is going to be a fun game to play. So I want to go for a miner when I can. I don't want to go on the left-hand side, but I think I have to now. Yeah, I'm going to have to go on the left-hand side because I can't give him counter push on the giant lane. So if he cycles something, I don't want him to be able to kill the miner with it and then still go on the side he wants. Remember last time he minored and then he pre-fireballed, but he minored away from it, so then he would get extra chip damage. So it looks like he's probably going to do something similar. I want to save my elixir. He just uses log, so that means I can go in with my goblin gang. He's got fireball, so he doesn't have poison. There's no way he has fireball poison with giants. It's going to have one or the other. So we know that we can safely drop our goblin gang there without any threat. He could zap it, but that doesn't matter to me. And now since he allocated a zap on offense, I can go in for a bats plus miner push on offense as well. So that means that he does not have it on defense. He might have to fireball everything. As a result, I want to drop everything further away. I don't want to fireball that. Musketeer is wasted. It's not going to give him any value in the lane that he wants to work on. I can go for a firecracker here a little bit farther back so the musketeer doesn't lock onto that. I'd rather lock onto the tower because our tower is really healthy on the left. So if we eat some chip damage there, it doesn't matter. Perfect timing. We go in for a prince at the exact time that he goes in for a giant. We can go for a goblin gang here as well to bolster up our defenses as well because he's going to have to drop a zap and then he won't have it on defense for the bats and miner, and then we can spam him really aggressively here. So I think that our defense here is going to be really solid because we limited his offensive potential, and he's going to go for another pre-log on top of our goblin gang. It's not going to work this time, so he made one really good prediction. We've always played really aggressive with the minimal amount of elixir that we've had, and we went in for bats plus miner. We stretched him thin, and he didn't have any answer. Now he's having to giant in a lane he doesn't want to because all of his counter pressure is going to go on the other side now. So that prince is putting in a lot of work, but the miner is going to do even more. We can go for a firecracker. I need to go for bats right on top of this because otherwise he might go for a pre-log, and I don't want that to happen. He's done it like 5 times already. The bats will be able to kill, which is phenomenal for me. And now I can start to cycle really aggressively. I have to. I have to go in for a miner. I have to go in for fireball. I have to go in for zap. We need to keep up the aggression here so then I can break through. We just need a little bit of hits from either goblins or a prince or a firecracker, and we'll walk with the W. GG, well played, and peace out. We handily defeated a triple spell giant player. We're gonna go for bats in the back and we're gonna see what's up. This guy's doing absolutely nothing, so we definitely want to follow up with a miner, so then he has to respond to it. Man, you're gonna have to drop something here, brother. You got a Harry Potter, one of those. So I think that the miner is just gonna be able to have free reign on the tower for quite a while. That wizard was preoccupied with the bats, hitting each of the bats individually instead of killing them all at once. Feels good, man. We can go for a firecracker here, and then we can go for a fireball right on top, so then we're able to kill the wizard in one fell swoop. then he's not going to be able to get any value. He's forced to go for a -1 interaction on the left-hand side. The fireball was able to clean up the wizard and the Mega Knight without us having to respond with any extra elixir. And he's already saying GG. Yeah, he's down a bit of elixir. He doesn't have wizard. He doesn't have Mega Knight in cycle. So I think he's going to be hard-pressed to have any splash damage to interact well with our Goblin Gang here. I wonder if he's going to have another splash damaging card. I highly doubt it, right? So yeah, he's going to have Zap. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut the bills, man. It's not going to actually do it for you. I think we can maybe just go for a firecracker here and then go for a miner on top of the musketeer. So then we're going to be able to kill the musketeer. Our firecracker will not take any damage whatsoever. And then we're going to be able to get some chip damage on the tower, or he's going to drop either Mega Knight or Wizard or something. We'll see. Okay, Mega Knight is placed. I can go for a Prince on defense here, and the Mega Knight does not jump. It'll just simply die, and that's great. So he could Wizard at the river and kill that and potentially have the Mega Knight jump, but I don't think he's going to do that. Feels good, man. So I'm in a situation where we're down elixir. I have to play defensive right now. I have Mortar, I have Goblin Gang, I have Fireball, I have Zap. I have so many answers to his bird spam, so I'm not too worried. In this situation, I could have went for a Goblin Gang in the back, and then I could have followed up with a Bats on top of the Valkyrie really quickly, but I elected to go for the defensive Mortar just because I didn't really know how much elixir I was down. I was down quite a bit, though. Went for Hog Rider on the other side, so I can go for Bats plus Miner and guess that he's going to go for a Wizard. So I'm going to Fireball. Oh, he went for a Musketeer. That's still fine. We got a lot of damage with his Bats. So that preemptive Fireball was clean. I want to go in for a defensive Mortar here. I don't want to drop it up too high. I usually like doing that, but since he's got a Mini P.E.K.K.A. running at us, I don't feel comfortable in that situation. So we're going to have that Prince locked on in the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Unfortunately, oh my gosh, I thought the Mini P.E.K.K.A. was going to get a hit. Fortunately, the Mini P.E.K.K.A. doesn't get a hit, guys. I was about to say, unfortunately, the Mini P.E.K.K.A. gets a hit on our Prince, putting it into a lower HP threshold, so we're not able to get as much value from it. I'm able to go in for a Mortar, and the Mega Knight's going to walk too close, and then the Mortar redirects onto the tower. It looks like it's going to give us a lot of hits on his tower. So we can Fireball here. We can go in for a Firecracker. So we can go and push the Mini P.E.K.K.A. even further away from its goals in life. It's not able to accomplish anything. It's wasting time. It doesn't know what to do. And we can just go in for a Goblin Gang right on top of the Musketeer to finish it off. And the Miner's just going to get too much damage in the meantime. So GG, well played, and peace out. Even if he zapped the left-hand side, we would have still had a Stab Goblin survive because it never dies to the zap.